The New York Yankees have stumbled into the perfect scenario, and honestly, the timing could not be better. With all the noise lately surrounding the state of their infield, the injuries, the inconsistencies, and the unanswered questions, it seems like the stars are finally aligning. There's now a real tangible solution sitting right in front of them. And while this team has shown in the past that they're not shy about going all in, the situation right now makes that decision even easier. The Yankees have prospects. They've got assets, they've got some wiggle room, but most importantly, they got a gap at third base, and there's a potential fix sitting out there waiting for the right offer. Let's rewind a bit and talk about where things stand. Injuries have ravaged the Yankees infield this season. DJ LeMahieu started the year in a competition for third base, but ended up on the shelf with a calf injury. Oswald Peraza, who was supposed to be the next man up, hasn't found his groove. At the plate, he's been underwhelming, to put it lightly. And the most consistent option they had, Oswaldo Cabrera, is now out for the season with an ankle issue. It's been a domino effect of problems, forcing the Yankees to get creative and test their depth. Now that LeMahieu is working his way back, the Yankees need to decide how they want to use him. He could easily slide back into that third base role, but is that the best option for the long run? The team knows that patchwork lineups don't get you through October. You need stability, you need impact, and you need a right-handed bat at the hot corner. That's why Alec Bohm from the Philadelphia Phillies is starting to look like a pretty intriguing possibility. Bohm has been floating around in trade speculation for a while now. He's not a rental, but he's also not locked in long-term either. He's heading into his final arbitration years and will be a free agent after the 2026 season. With Philly set to face some tough decisions in the upcoming offseasons, several of their core guys are due for big paydays. Bohm might not be a priority. And if that's the case, the Yankees have a chance to pounce. Let's talk value. Bohm isn't having a lights-out season by any means. His WAR is in the negative, his OPS is hovering well below league average, and his power numbers are down. Just 3 home runs so far. But this isn't about the numbers he's putting up right now. It's about the upside, the fit, and the opportunity. Bohm is a steady glove at third, a capable right-handed hitter, and someone who might just benefit from a change of scenery. And here's the kicker. His slow start could actually help the Yankees land him at a lower price. Now, the proposed trade package floating around includes Ian Hamilton, Everson Pereira, and Carlos Lagrange. At first glance, it might feel like a lot. But let's break it down. Hamilton is a solid reliever, no doubt. But with guys like Jonathan Loaisiga back, Luke Weaver in the mix, on arms like Jake Cousins and Davy Garcia waiting in the wings, the Yankees are deep when it comes to right-handed bullpen options. Hamilton has had some bright moments this season, but his ERA sits above 4, and he's been giving up runs at inopportune times. This is a bullpen that can afford to move him. Then there's Pereira, talented kid, he's got some pop, he's fast, and he's putting up good numbers in AAA. OPS near 900, batting average decent, on-base percentage solid. But here's the thing, he's an outfielder in an organization that's overflowing with outfield talent. With guys like Jason Dominguez, Spencer Jones, and even Estevan Florial getting attention, Pereira just doesn't have a clear path to the majors in the Bronx. It's not about his talent, it's about the fit. In Philly, he might have a better shot at cracking the lineup. Carlos Lagrange is the wild card here. He's a name that hasn't been thrown around much in Yankee circles, but he's been quietly dominant in the minors this year. ERA in the mid-3s, whip under 1, and he's a strikeout machine. He can hit triple digits on the radar gun and projects as a high upside starter or late inning reliever down the road. But again, the Yankees have gone all in on stockpiling pitchers. 14 of their last 20 picks were arms. Lagrange might be good, but he's also buried in the depth chart. And if you're not going to use him, why not flip him for a piece you actually need? The Yankees are in a position where they can afford to make a move like this. They're not desperate, but they're close to something special. This season has the feel of a bounce-back campaign, one where they're not just trying to recover from a disappointing 2023, but to build something more sustainable. Aaron Judge is healthy again. The rotation has been solid. The bullpen, for the most part, has held its own. Now they need to fill that one glaring hole at third base and round out the lineup with a right-handed threat. Bohm checks all those boxes. And the truth is, he wouldn't even be asked to carry the offense. The Yankees don't need him to hit 30 homers. They need him to play a clean third base, make pitchers work at the plate, and drive in runs when it counts. In that context, his numbers don't look as rough. He's still young, still under team control, and still has time to rebound. Of course, there's always risk in a move like this. You're betting on upside. You're moving young talent. You're hoping that a new environment will unlock something. That's been dormant, but sometimes that's exactly what a team needs. And with the Yankees in the thick of a competitive race, standing pat just doesn't feel like an option. This trade makes sense on paper and on the field. It gives the Yankees something they lack. It gives the Phillies future assets, and it gives Bohm a fresh start in a city that knows how to rally around a guy looking to prove himself. Whether this deal happens or not, it signals that the Yankees are serious. They're not content with good enough. They want to win now, and moves like this are how you build a roster capable of doing just that. What makes this moment so crucial for the Yankees is not just the potential addition of Alec Bohm, but how everything around this team is coming together at exactly the right time. Momentum matters in baseball. It matters in any sport, but especially in baseball, where confidence, chemistry, and timing can carry a team through slumps and injuries. The Yankees are starting to build that kind of momentum. Aaron Judge is back to being the superstar he's always been, and the supporting cast has risen to the challenge more than anyone could have predicted at the start of the year. The emergence of Anthony Volpe as a top-of-the-order presence, the power resurgence of Giancarlo Stanton, and the depth provided by names like Austin Wells and Gleyber Torres, even amid some inconsistency, have all contributed to this resurgence. This is the kind of season that feels like it has a second gear, the kind where the right addition doesn't just plug a hole, it launches a stretch run. That's why someone like Bohm becomes so attractive. He doesn't need to become a star overnight, he just needs to be solid. And the Yankees, frankly, haven't had solid at third base in quite some time. Since the decline of Gio Urshela and the underwhelming Josh Donaldson era, third base has been a revolving door for New York. It's not just about stats. It's about having a dependable glove and a professional at-bat every night. Bohm has shown the ability to be both, even if 2024 hasn't been his best showing so far. A new city, a new clubhouse, and a clear role could all help Bohm find his rhythm. Philadelphia has always been a tough market for players trying to establish themselves. And while Bohm has certainly had his moments, including his clutch performance in the 2022 postseason run, the pressure and expectations may have worn on him. New York is no easier in terms of pressure, but the difference is in the fit. The Yankees aren't asking Bohm to be Bryce Harper. They're asking him to be himself. And if he does that, even at 80% of his peak form, it's an upgrade over what they're currently running out there at third base on a daily basis. Another factor that makes Bohm such an intriguing option is his contact-first approach at the plate. In an era where strikeouts are sky high and hitters are swinging out of their shoes every pitch, Bohm brings something a bit different. He puts the ball in play. He doesn't walk a ton, but he also doesn't strike out a lot. He can keep innings alive, move runners over, and make productive outs. For a Yankees team that has often lived and died by the long ball, having a few more players who can just do the little things could prove invaluable in the postseason when pitching gets tighter. And every at-bat matters more. Defensively, Bohm may not be Nolan Arenado, but he's serviceable, and more importantly, consistent. The Yankees can't afford to have third base be a defensive liability down the stretch, and with the way this team is currently constructed, defensive versatility and reliability are key. Bohm doesn't have to be flashy, he just needs to be steady. Combine that with his upside at the plate and years of control remaining, and it's easy to see why the Yankees would be interested. On the other side of this potential deal, the Phillies wouldn't be getting shortchanged. Ian Hamilton is a legitimate major league arm. His stuff plays. He's shown the ability to miss bats, and in a bullpen that could use some reinforcements, Hamilton would be a welcome addition. Everson Pereira, meanwhile, could step in as a long-term outfield option for Philadelphia. With Nick Castellanos underperforming and long-term questions about other parts of their outfield, adding a controllable player with Pereira's upside makes sense. And Carlos Lagrange is the kind of high-ceiling arm that any pitching-hungry team would love to develop. The Phillies have done a good job identifying and developing arms recently, and Lagrange could easily fit into their pipeline. It's important to emphasize that this isn't about fleecing anyone. It's about both teams addressing needs from positions of relative strength. The Yankees can afford to deal from their bullpen depth and outfield surplus. The Phillies, facing payroll challenges and a crowded roster, might be better served getting ahead of the curve and moving Bohm while he still has value. This could be the kind of trade that benefits both clubs without requiring a blockbuster prospect haul. There's also a cultural factor at play here. The Yankees have turned the corner, both in the clubhouse and on the field. There's a clear identity forming. This isn't the disjointed team of last season, where nothing felt connected. This is a group with energy, purpose, and a chip on its shoulder. Bringing in someone like Bohm, a player who has dealt with adversity, who has grown up in a tough market, and who understands what it means to fight for your place, fits that mold. He's a grinder. He's not flashy, but he's effective. And in many ways, that's what this version of the Yankees is all about. They're no longer built around just star power. They're built around a full 26-man roster that can compete on any given day. Brian Cashman has often been criticized for not pulling the trigger on mid-tier moves when they were needed most. The 2023 trade deadline was a prime example. The team was faltering, and instead of making a bold move to try and jolt the lineup, the Yankees stayed quiet and watched the season slip away. That can't happen again. The 2024 Yankees are in a position to make a deep run. They need to treat this deadline as an opportunity, not just a formality. Landing Alec Bohm wouldn't make headlines the way acquiring Juan Soto would, but it might end up being the kind of move that wins you a series in October. It's also worth mentioning the financial aspect of this potential deal. Bohm isn't expensive, yet he's still in arbitration and won't hit free agency until after the 2026 season. That gives the Yankees 2.5 years of control, assuming they keep him the whole time. That kind of stability matters. It allows them to plan long term without feeling like they're locked into a massive contract. And if he performs well, they always have the option to explore an extension or use him as a trade chip down the road. Flexibility is currency in today's MLB, and Bohm gives them that. In a season where the Yankees finally seem to have recaptured their swagger, they can't afford to leave any stone unturned. The American League is competitive. The Orioles are for real. The Rangers are dangerous. The Astros, while vulnerable, are always a threat in October. If the Yankees want to come out of this year with more than just a feel-good story, they need to keep improving piece by piece. Alec Bohm isn't the final piece of the puzzle, but he could be an important one. And maybe that's the point. Championships aren't won on splashy moves alone. They're won on depth, durability, and the willingness to make smart, calculated decisions when the opportunity presents itself. For the Yankees, this is that opportunity, a chance to solidify the infield, balance the lineup, and add another competitor to a clubhouse that's finally pointed in the right direction. Whether this deal gets done or not, the message is clear. The Yankees aren't settling. They're building towards something bigger, and now is the time to act. But before we continue, please remember to join our channel and give this video a like. Your support allows us to keep bringing you the latest news about the New York Yankees. Feel free to share your thoughts on the news in the comments. Whispers are swirling around the New York Yankees bullpen as news emerges that one of their top late-inning relievers has been sidelined due to a shoulder injury. While the team has remained tight-lipped on specifics, insiders suggest this setback could potentially impact the Yankees' performance in crucial moments of the season. Manager Aaron Boone has acknowledged the absence, but stopped short of confirming any long-term prognosis, fueling speculation about the severity and timeline of the injury. The Yankees have relied heavily on their bullpen to close out games, and losing a key reliever, even temporarily, can unsettle the delicate balance of late-game strategy. This unnamed arm has been pivotal in securing wins, often entering high-pressure situations to maintain slim leads or keep the score within reach. Fans and analysts alike are now questioning how the Yankees will adjust their bullpen usage in the coming weeks, especially with a demanding schedule ahead. Sources close to the team hint that the injury might not be as minor as initially hoped. Shoulder issues are notoriously tricky for pitchers, sometimes requiring extended rest or even medical intervention. The Yankees have historically been cautious with injured players, preferring to avoid rushing anyone back prematurely and risking further damage. Given that the reliever has already missed multiple games, there is growing concern about how much time he might be sidelined. Aaron Boone, known for his measured approach, has expressed optimism, but also realism. He emphasized the need to evaluate the situation day by day, which often signals a cautious outlook. The Yankees coaching staff is reportedly exploring various options to compensate for the bullpen gap, possibly turning to younger arms or calling up talent from the minors. However, integrating new pitchers into the late innings is a delicate art, and it remains to be seen who will step up in this critical phase of the season. The timing of this injury is particularly unfortunate as the Yankees face a series of pivotal matchups. The bullpen's reliability could be tested against some of the league's most potent offenses, making every pitching decision crucial. If the reliever's absence extends longer than expected, it might force Boone to rethink his late inning strategies, possibly stretching other arms beyond their usual limits. While the organization has yet to release an official update, the rumor mill is already buzzing with potential trade scenarios and internal adjustments. Fans are hoping for a swift recovery, but there's an underlying unease about how the Yankees will navigate this challenge. The bullpen, often the backbone of any successful team, is under the spotlight, and all eyes will be on how Boone manages this evolving situation. In a season where every game counts, the health of this key reliever could be a defining factor in the Yankees' quest for postseason glory. As the team grapples with this unexpected hurdle, the baseball world watches closely, waiting to see whether this injury will prove to be a mere bump in the road or a significant obstacle to the Yankees' championship ambitions. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the New York Yankees, please subscribe to our channel and give us a like. We always appreciate your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.